A princess who cannot sleep, tormented by a single pea buried beneath a towering stack of mattresses. On the surface, it's ridiculous, a whimsical children's tale. Yet beneath the absurdity lies something far older, far stranger, and infinitely darker than any bedtime story. Concealed within the seemingly innocent fairy tale is an ancient ordeal designed to separate the merely human from something altogether more exalted, or perhaps more alien. Come with me as we peel back the centuries. The Princess and the Pea is not what you think it is. Welcome back to the Mythos Echo. Most of us know the version Hans Christian Andersen published in 1835. A prince searches the world for a genuine princess, unable to trust appearances. One stormy night, a drenched girl arrives at the castle gate, claiming royal blood. The queen, skeptical, devises a secret test. She places one tiny pea at the bottom of the bed, piles on 20 mattresses and 20 feather beds, and invites the stranger to sleep. Morning comes. "How did you sleep?" they ask. "Terribly," the girl exclaims. "Something hard was in the bed. I'm black and blue all over." Only a true princess, the queen concludes, could be so exquisitely sensitive. The prince marries her, and the pea is enshrined in a museum. The end. Andersen always insisted the story wasn't his invention. He claimed it was an old tale told to him in childhood, something already drifting through the oral tradition of Denmark. Yet when scholars hunt for printed versions before 1835, they find nothing. The trail vanishes. Or does it? Dig a little deeper, and older echoes appear. In Scandinavian folklore, there existed a tale, clearly related to Puss in Boots, in which a clever cat or dog helps a poor girl pass herself off as royalty. The suspicious queen hides peas, beans, or straw beneath the bedding to expose the fraud. The animal overhears the plot and warns the girl, who complains convincingly each morning. Here, the pea test already exists, but it can be cheated. Sensitivity is faked, not innate. Yet the motif refuses to stay comic. In the Brothers Grimm's The 12 Huntsmen, peas scattered on the floor are meant to betray women disguised as men, because women step lightly and make the peas roll. Again, the pea is a revealer of hidden identity, a tiny seed that exposes truth. And the pea itself is older than any of these stories. We think of soft green garden peas, but those are modern. For millennia, people ate field peas, hard, dry, nut-like things that could survive winter and travel. Archaeologists find them charred in 10,000-year-old fireplaces. In China, the divine farmer Shen Nong is credited with discovering them 5,000 years ago. In Norse myth, Thor hurled peas at humanity in rage. Across Europe, witches and demons were forced to stop and count scattered peas, paralyzed by the compulsion. Small, humble, ancient, and uncanny. The pattern widens. Hidden trials that reveal true nature are everywhere in myth. Arthur pulls the sword from the stone. Cinderella's foot slides perfectly into the slipper. Penelope quizzes Odysseus about their immovable marriage bed. The pea belongs to this family of impossible tests, but the motif is older than Europe. Around 1070 CE, the vast Sanskrit story collection, Ocean of the Rivers of Stories, contains 3 delicate Brahmin brothers competing in fastidiousness. The third boasts that a single hair beneath 7 mattresses left him bruised all night. 1,000 years before Andersen, the identical image appears. Absurd hypersensitivity, proved by a minute object under layers of bedding. Go back further still. In the luxurious Greek colony of Sybarites, whose very name gave us the word Sybarite, the aristocrat Sybarites supposedly lost a night's sleep because one rose petal beneath him was creased, or because the softness of the petals blistered his skin. Roman writers told the anecdote with scorn, mocking decadent elites too fragile for the real world. 2 millennia before Andersen, the same satirical barb existed. Was Andersen continuing an ancient joke at the aristocracy's expense? Perhaps. But something deeper is stirring. Across myth, extreme sensitivity is a mark of the divine or the otherworldly. The moon goddess Selene was so tender that a mortal lover's touch could wound her. Celtic fairies, the Seedi, were bruised by coarse cloth or loud voices. Medieval saints and virgins were described in the same language, fainting at harsh words, unable to eat ordinary food, sleeping badly on anything less than perfect linen. Their frailty was proof of holiness, not weakness. By the 18th century, that once sacred fragility, once the unmistakable signature of gods and fairies, had been quietly reassigned. It now belonged exclusively to upper-class women. The perfect lady was expected to be ethereal, vaporous, ready to faint at the slightest shock, her skin so delicate it bruised at a whisper. What had once marked a being as more than human was repackaged and sold as the ultimate proof of feminine refinement. Was Hans Christian Andersen laughing at this new ideal when he wrote The Princess and the Pea? Quite possibly. Or was he, without realizing it, preserving a far older truth? Because the deepest root of the story reaches all the way back to Mesopotamia, nearly 4,000 years ago. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, the flood survivor, Utnapishtim, sets the hero a single, merciless test. Remain awake for 7 full days and nights. If Gilgamesh can conquer sleep, he may conquer death itself. He collapses almost immediately. Sleep claims him, and in that defeat, his mortality is sealed. The gods do not sleep. Mortals must. The same equation echoes across the ancient world. Initiates in the Greek Eleusinian mysteries kept sleepless vigils through the night to earn the right to behold divine secrets. Indian ascetics sat in meditation until dawn, burning away the frailty of the flesh. In Gethsemane, Jesus begged his disciples to stay awake with him. They failed, and their sleep proved they were merely men, while his endurance proved he was more. Odin hung pierced upon Yggdrasil for 9 nights without sleep, sacrificing himself to seize the runes of wisdom. Sleeplessness equals divinity. Sleep equals the human condition. And in many of these traditions, the harshest trials of wakefulness were reserved for young women chosen to carry the goddess within a mortal body. The high priestesses of Inanna, or Ishtar, who enacted the sacred marriage with the king, the Vestal Virgins of Rome, the Pythia at Delphi, the maiden attendants of Artemis. Their bodies had to be flawless, untouched vessels. Their purity and endurance were tested by ordeal after ordeal. Only a woman of divine or semi-divine lineage, what the old stories would later call a real princess, could pass. Now look once more at Andersen's princess. She does not sleep. A speck beneath a mountain of mattresses torments her all night, leaves her bruised and aching. The towering bed lifts her almost into the heavens themselves. She has passed the most ancient trial humanity ever devised, the ordeal that separates the mortal from the divine. That single pea was never just a vegetable. It was the Mesopotamian sleeplessness test, carried on a current of mockery through Sybarite aristocrats and delicate Indian Brahmins, washed ashore in Northern European folklore, and finally polished by Andersen into something that looks like a children's fable. But no child was ever meant to grasp its true meaning. The princess who cannot sleep is not simply winning a prince. She is a goddess in human form, proven by the oldest criterion we ever had for recognizing the divine. And she is far from the only fairy tale figure concealing forgotten gods. Next time, the 3 little pigs, the houses they truly built, and the terrifying force that was never just a big bad wolf. See you there.